worker trying to make money using his car. He uses multiple gig apps all at the same time to maximize his earnings. But this can be difficult and dangerous while driving. Sometimes the requests come in so fast Joe can't pick and choose the best trips to take, which can result in lower pay or lower rated disruptive passengers. That was until Joe found Maximo, the automation app that helps gig workers accept and decline trip requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and rating, to determine which trips are best suited for Joe. When a trip request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will compare the trip details to Joe's filters and then determine if it should automatically accept the trip, decline the trip, or allow Joe to decide by showing the per mile and per minute rates. When a trip has been accepted, Maximo will turn off the other apps that aren't on a trip. Once Joe finishes a trip, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to reduce his stress and frustration, drive safe, and focus on the important tasks. Check out Maximo at www.maximoapp.com.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Thursday night Rideshare Rodeo Roundtable. We got a great guest tonight. We got Chris from Show Me the Money Club over there at the Rideshare Guy. And, of course, I got all my lovely other co-hosts here. Got Kim, Side Money Plans. Got Hannibal is Hungry. And John Dash Theory TV. That always tongue ties.
John Dash.
John yeah.
Supposed to be Josh Dan.
Yeah,
say that 10 times fast.
Can you? We just need to drop the dash up there because I go to John Dash Theory TV.
Start putting like a hyphen there, just John Dash Theory TV.
Yeah. So how is everybody tonight?
Fantastic.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Good. Weather's picking up a little nicely compared to the last couple of days, so definitely enjoying that.
Did you get some of that snow?
A little bit, real small, right, Kim? It wasn't that big of. It wasn't even much to.
It snowed the whole day, but nothing really stuck until like close to the very end, so it's fine.
Right. It was 60 degrees here today. I know you guys are filling for me.
We got 50, so close.
Yeah, same here. I couldn't get past 55, I don't think.
Yeah, we were in the 50s today.
So I know everybody's probably watching this. And they're like, wait, where's Steve? He decided to go cuddle with a grizzly bear on top of a mountain somewhere by snow. And I don't know what to tell you guys. So
he's with the abominable snowman right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Working on the next chapter of Game of Thrones.
Oh boy.
Or Brokeback Mountain 1 and 2.
Have any of you guys asked why he's doing what he's doing?
I know why he's doing what he's doing. He wants to be able to save lives.
Yeah, but
he's searching for people.
He does dumpling and curry. So when is he gonna have time to go save some lives?
In between curry and
I'm pretty sure, like as a gig app, I mean, life saving probably pays well.
Well, it's flexible gig work, right? That's why we do it, right? So every once in a while, you can go save a life, go back and do a dumpling run. So it makes sense.
Well, I think the reason why he's doing it is because whenever he does go up there and he does his skiing and snowboarding and things like that, because he's doing avalanche training. So if there is an avalanche, then he will know how to respond to it and help others.
That's what's up. When are you gonna go to the mountains and hike with Steve, Gary?
Never.
Okay.
About the same time you do.
No, I'm not doing it. I think I have the best strategy for avoiding avalanches is never go anywhere near where they would have that there. Like I'm a city.
Now I am going to the mountains again, or I'm going to the mountains. I don't know how much in the mountains it is, but in July, we're all getting together. Him and his fiance, Tony and Lisa, me and my wife, we're all going to go up there. We're going to get an Airbnb up in the cabins by the spa.
Awesome.
We're going to go river rafting and things like that.
You're going to go river rafting?
Yeah. Oh, I already warned him. I said, hey, I'm not paddling.
That's when you need the float and you just go down the river.
Exactly. I mean, everybody here knows me. Like Hannibal said, you what?
What?
I think that's more my speed. I am a sit in the lodge drinking a wine by your fireplace type of girl. That's just way too adventurous for me.
No, I don't mind going, but if you expect me to help save us, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, that's why you gotta have Steve with you.
You got Steve.
Now he said that there's on the river rafting. He said that there's a guide with you that stands on the back and kind of makes sure everything goes okay. I'm like, well, he better be one hell of a guide.
Well, everybody's gonna be wearing a life vest, so that'll help, right?
Sure. Nobody joins with life vest. Never.
Bring a little pole, like a little Sandman pole, and pull you out.
Yeah. Whatever works. I'm not leaving the raft, no matter what. Everybody else might fall out. I ain't falling out.
Like, sayonara, guys.
It's more likely I'm gonna push Steve out to save myself before I fall out.
He has the training.
Flips.
Right. So, okay, let's say hi to chat real quick. Steve likes us to do that. We got Uber Eats Pete. Thanks for joining us. Of course, we got Thomas, always here. I think he's on your schedule, right, Kim?
Yes.
Yeah, see, never misses a show. Got JP's Gig Corner. Thanks for joining. Of course, Bud Soda. Got Christine. Thanks for joining us as well. And Dashing Grandpa. Thanks for joining us. So we got a lot of stories to go through, so I think we're just going to jump right into it. But before we do that, as you're coming in, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Help that algorithm out for Steve. And Hannibal, I think you're actually leading us off tonight with some Chat GPT talk.
All right, awesome. Yeah, for some reason, Steve suggested this story to me. So I think he thinks I'm the AI expert of the Roundtable. And all I did is type Chat GPT into a computer, like in a browser. Like I didn't code. I mean, actually, Gary, you should have been talking about this one. So the two articles that I checked out was General Motors. They're looking to integrate Chat GPT. At this point, if you guys don't know what that is, it's an advanced AI language model. It's a chat. Basically, it looks like a chat room, like a regular chat. You type in questions and it answers those questions for you. Basically, the best it can. It's basically an evolution of Google, right? Like when you Google something, like to a point it became a verb, right? I'm gonna Google something, learn something. ChatGPT is basically an involved version of that. So, a couple episode ago, I think I made a story up with Steve and Gary, just making up a fictional story. ChatGPT just filed out up pretty quickly. So what they're going to do for GM, General Motors, they're going to have that in their vehicles. So accessing vehicle features, programming functions, integrating schedules from calendars. Basically, it's a broader effort to make future vehicles more technologically advanced and user-friendly. So Microsoft is heavily invested in the whole ChatGPT thing. I think eventually it's going to be in everything. Obviously it's already in our phones, but it's going to be in every device possible. I know it could be a little scary in terms of how accurate and ChatGPT can be in terms of answering questions. And I mean, at this point, it could pass the law exam, it could pass the bar in the 80-something percentile. Like
that's the crazy thing. Yeah, passing the bar.
Yeah, it could pass like medical exams. Like it's pretty impressive. But I still look at it as an assistant. It's not 100% correct. There's times where it's blatantly wrong. Sometimes, at least there's been some issues or situations where it's politically leaning in one direction, right? Compared to the others. So it's not necessarily the most biased thing, but it's pretty good. And then also Instacart is adding ChatGPT technology to the app. A lot of companies are doing this. So it's not, something out of the ordinary. I think Shopify does this, BuzzFeed, Meta, obviously they do that as well. Let me see. So basically, it'll be an Ask Instacart feature that will allow customers to ask about the groceries and meals and get shoppable answers, whatever that means. Basically, they'll be using the product data to draw all the store locations. So I guess what they're going to be doing is helping you with your budget, health, nutrition, personal tastes, what's going on in terms of prep time, in terms of cooking. So it's supposed to be like your assistant when you are ordering groceries. So I think it's pretty useful. I don't know if it'll change anything in terms of the situation that's going on with Instacart, but what's happening with the ChatGPT? It's basically It's going to be here. It's coming. It's something we're going to have to get used to. I still think it's useful, but at the same time, it's not like the end all be all. So I don't know. But I do think that Instacart can we benefit from this, particularly with customer service and answering some questions that you can answer quickly with the AI compared to either talking to some support agent or something like that. So I thought it was pretty interesting. I think it's just more of the inevitable. But in terms of what, as gig workers, what we can anticipate or what we think, I don't know. I don't know how this really helps Instacart change the dynamic of where they're going, because it's still, I think the other companies are doing better. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, here's the first thing. Whenever you said that it was going to, that came to mind whenever it said that you were, or that they were going to integrate with Instacart. You can actually go there, and I just did it right now, and I said, what sides go well with steak? And it gave me 7 sides, details and all of how what's in them and everything. So, that would go with steak.
I'm wondering, is that a really good feature to upsell and get people to order more when you say, yeah, like you said, what the different sides I can have with my meal, maybe you'd be more interested in adding more stuff to your cart, so maybe they'll bring more orders in. I mean,
will it have recipes? So if I say, hey, I want to make a meatloaf tonight, will they give me all the ingredients to make a meatloaf?
If it's integrated into ChatGPT, they will give you recipes, they'll give you nutritional facts, they'll give you everything.
Pretty cool.
Like making a 500-calorie meatloaf, vegetarian and vegan, then
it's possible. Yeah, man. It's very, very impressive.
Kim, I actually typed that for you. How to make a meatloaf? Yes. Do you want to see what it says?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to Dan it out on Instacart though. The do anything now prompt.
Yeah. I haven't even checked this to see how well it works. I mean, I see that if it can get these type of small little things done, I think if it makes a better experience for the shopper, hopefully that makes it a better experience for us who are doing the shopping. If everyone's a little bit, if they can answer questions quickly, I think it could work for everything or everyone, at least in terms of shopping.
I can think of a downfall, though, as a shopper. What happens if you're in the middle of doing a shop and this person says, hey, I want to make a meatloaf, and then all of a sudden, like 10 more things like pop up on your cart, and you're like, darn it.
Yeah, that'd be annoying for sure.
Well, chat will not allow for out-of-stock ingredients to still come in. So you're still going to have that back and forth. So I'm not sure where they're going with that besides just trying to upsell, like, oh, I want to make the meatloaf, and then they give the ingredients. Would you like me to add that to your cart? I mean, that would be the only thing I would think that it would really benefit from. But like, other than that, it's like, oh, this is 3 of your ingredients are out of stock. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Well, maybe
you're not making meatloaf tonight.
Well, maybe it could give you an alternative though, if it is out of it. Like, say if you're going to make a steak and you want to do macaroni and cheese, and it's like, oh, we're out of the noodles for this, but would you like to do Alfredo with this or something like that? Yeah. Kim, here is how to make a meatloaf for you. I literally typed in how to make a meatloaf.
That might be the real life hack, is just typing in how to cook in ChatGPT and it just telling us.
And it gave me all the ingredients you need to make, and gives you the instructions right below it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. Like the last time we talked about it. The last time Hannibal brought it up, anyways, I started using it instead of Google.
Oh yeah. So you still using it for help with coding and stuff like that?
Yes. It's awesome.
It's a great assistant, right? Like, I wouldn't try to do everything on it, because you will get exposed if you put something out. Because sometimes Chat GPT is wrong, like 100%. It didn't get it right. Either didn't understand what you asked for it to do. So you have to still have a brain. You still have to have a functional brain. But I do think it will be helpful on probably the customer side in terms of answering the questions. Like what Chris said, it has to be accurate. Don't suggest stuff that is not in this damn store. Get the customer upset, and now it gets to me. So I think if they can be the middleman to answer all those questions, even though some of the dumb questions, and I don't have to, I think that's helpful.
What if there's an option that, instead of asking the customer can say, Chat GPT, just, answer all of my responses for substitutions, yada, yada, approve them. That could be helpful to a shopper.
Yeah. I guess the one negative thing I think
if it can help me.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if it can help me at Jarvis, then I'd be okay with that. That's from Iron Man.
Right.
AI.
I'm all for automation, AI, things like that. If it can help you, do anything that's not just dumb, for example, a real world application, then it's great to have them. I'm not a fan of substitution though, for you actually having to do something.
So what about this? I know Hannibal mentioned it could pass the bar. Can it get me out of a case? Can it be my lawyer?
I mean, at this point, it depends on how much money you have. Like, if you don't have a lot of money, then Chat GPT maybe your guy. Because I've been around some terrible lawyers, so it's possible that Chat GPT maybe you're the best case for, or at least best bet for you. But I do think, I agree with Gary in terms of as AI becomes more integrated into our daily lives, like there should still be a balance of still communicating with a human being and maintaining that personal touch with a human being compared to just efficiency with the Chat GPT. That again, it could be wrong, could blatantly tell you the wrong answer. That could be a problem as well. So I think they need to maintain that balance. I still want to talk to a human being. When I call for something, either customer service, and they start giving those chatbot stuff, I don't like it.
That's all long gone already.
Well, I still do with some of that. I forgot something I was dealing with. Had to answer questions to a point I just kept saying, "No, can't help me. I want to contact a human
agent."
That's what you just say.
Zero.
Yeah, like I don't want to talk to you.
And I hate that too, because there's some places I'll call too, and I'll be like, agent, and they're like, well, what can we help you with so we can get you the right agent? I don't care. Give me any agent. They can transfer me.
They'll transfer you to where you need to be. Definitely.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't think Chat GPT is going to go anywhere anytime soon. I do think it's great for some things. It's terrible for other things. I don't believe it could actually pass the bar. I just don't. I've been using it for coding. It can't code worth of crap.
Yeah, you're still using it for coding.
Well, no, I mean, like it can do basic functions, but if I go in here and I tell it to write me an app, it can't write me an app.
Makes sense.
I'm guessing in terms of like technical knowledge, because basically it's just scraping, right? It's just scraping is what's already out there and then throw it back at you. But I guess it's something more creative. Like coding, I still feel like it's numbers and zeros, but still some level of problem solving and creating. Maybe Chat GPT has upgraded to the 4, which is supposed to be a much better or more advanced version of the app. It's only available for people who're paying right now, but eventually it'll be where I guess everyone will have access to it. But it's supposed to be like way more advanced than what we currently are using right now. So it's gonna get more and more impressive as time goes on.
See, I think that they say it can pass the bar. Yeah, if you sit there and type every single question in there, it could probably give you the question or the answers.
Yeah,
but the do it by itself. I mean, it would take forever to use that thing for pass the bar.
Yeah.
You'd probably run out of time. JP's Gig Corner here says there are people that are trying to use Chat GPT to sue insurance companies. While I last read was the courts have ruled no, they can't come in and represent things.
That's funny. Like, who's representing you? And then you just turn your laptop,
turn the screen.
Judge. Yeah, this guy, this thing's going to represent me.
No, you could just be like, I'm representing myself. You have your computer there, and then they're like asking you questions, like, oh, hold on. Type it out, and then you start reading it line for line, so it's like what you're saying.
You would type it in, and you tell ChatGPT, make it better, then make that better.
Yeah, make this better.
One more time. All right, now I'm ready, Judge.
Well, Chris, do you think maybe it can help with the Prop 22 issues going on?
Ooh, oh boy, Prop 22.
We don't need Steve with that kind of transition, like.
Ooh, the thorn in California's side, I think, and probably every gig worker right now. So Prop 22, a ruling just came out on Monday, basically saying that they agree with Prop 22. So gig companies are happy. Some people are not, though, when it comes to it, because basically a judge in 2001 came in and said, oh, sorry, this is unconstitutional because of certain issues, so it's unenforceable. And obviously that got appealed. They heard the course, or they heard the case again. I believe it was in like November or something, and they just ruled on Monday, giving the ruling that says no, what the previous court had said where it's unconstitutional is not true. They are basically going to allow for parts of it to be dismantled, so it won't nullify the whole thing. And this is basically because they don't want to really go against what a proposition is, because that was voted on for the people. So it's very hard to overturn a proposition in any case, but even in this case, clearly it's going to be appealed again. It's going to go to the California Supreme Court. If the California Supreme Court wants to hear it or not, that's here nor there. But basically, it's just basically saying that, yeah, independent contractors status, there's going to be still enforceable. So it still nullifies AB 5, which was the codifying of a 3-part test to see if a person was truly an independent contractor or an employee. And Prop 22 is the answer. So yeah, that's basically where it is. So it just got rid of, I believe, the part that was with the ability to collective bargain. I think that was what was thrown out. So they could potentially lay the groundwork for something like that. But again, it's going to be appealed. And so it's just, again, something in limbo. Whether the Supreme Court decides to take it or not, I would assume they're going to, but I don't live in California. I don't know the California courts when it comes to it. I would think, though, but time will tell.
If we could had a guess, like, I think I agree with Chris. I think it probably will go to the Supreme Court, but what's the chances of them overturning this? If you guys had a guess, you think it's going to be upheld or be overturned? Like, I think it's going to be upheld.
Knowing California, I feel like upheld.
Yeah.
I think it would be who gets paid off the best. Who's getting that extra money on the side? But I didn't say that. No, honestly, I think it's probably going to be upheld. They might go in and change things around a little bit more to clarify certain aspects of it, give that final concrete portion that people are looking for. Because even still right now, you might be looking at it and saying, well, what about, this aspect of it? It could be a little bit of gray area. So I think they're just going to kind of come in and say, yeah, this part's going to continue, while other parts may be nullified or, have to be changed or something like that. Because even the 7/8 part was still upheld. So that still is part of Prop 22. So you thought, personally, I would have thought that would have been one of the first things that would have gone, because a 7/8 rule is making it almost impossible then to try to nullify that or to try to change legislation against Prop 22. So yeah, when it comes to the courts and judges, it could be anybody's game.
Yeah. So you said the court's decision to strike down provisions related to collective bargaining rights, right? Like they.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it said the appeals court struck down some provisions of the law that it deemed unduly constrained the California legislators' authority. So those are the parts of where it kind of struck down. But instead of taking it as a whole, because that's what the original judge said, because there were certain parts of it, and he went even further, or he or she, I can't remember who, went even further and said, like, there were more parts that were not constitutional and were constraining the legislative authority on it. So that's why he's like, well, the whole thing needs to be nullified and thrown out. But this is where the appellate court comes in and says, well, we found it where parts of it can actually be dismantled. And then that way, some of it will be still enforceable while the other part will not necessarily be enforceable.
Yeah.
So what is this going to mean going forward for the current gig workers out there?
Currently,
is anything going to change from what they're currently going through right now? Basically, no.
No, nothing's going to change. The only way something is going to change basically is if there's some sort of legislative action of 7/8 or greater. And also if it does go to the Supreme Court and then the Supreme Court says that they are basically making it unconstitutional or nullifying it in some way, or striking down other aspects of it. But currently, as it stands, no, there's nothing that's going to change. So gig workers are going to be the exact same, yesterday as last week as tomorrow, going forward, at least for the foreseeable future. And then the only aspect is, like I say, if the certain provisions that are struck down on it, that could be potentially an avenue where some things may potentially change, but not necessarily.
So do you think something like this opens the door for the rideshare companies and all that out there? Because, they have to give like minimum pay and everything. Does this open the door to get rid of some of that, you think?
No, because that's part of it. So I like when it comes to like the minimum wage floor or the 120% and all that,
right,
that's not going to change. That was kind of put in by the companies. But things like maybe the 7/8, which was actually upheld, the right to collectively bargain or the ability to collectively bargain, those types of things are going to be differentiated, keeping them independent contractors, gig workers. Now, the only way this could potentially change as well, too, would be something like the PRO Act, and that would supersede Prop 22 just because it's a national thing versus a state-by-state case. When it comes to like Prop 22 in in other states, look at Massachusetts. Massachusetts, had an AB5 like legislation on the books, and then they tried coming in and bringing a Prop 22 like legislation ballot measure, and they struck that down before it even made it to the ballot in November. And they said you can't have multiple parts on a ballot, so it's got to be a single part to it. So they're actually looking at different legislation, like many other states, like Chicago and Colorado and a couple other places. Something more kind of like Washington and Seattle has similarly. So I think it's just going to open the door for these places to look and see what California had done with AB5, how these companies responded with Prop 22, and then how they're going to try to rework it to work for themselves versus what it could be in a huge legal battle like we've seen.
So
I feel like,
go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was going to say, I just feel like this is a big win for gig workers out in California. Money is money for a lot of people that are benefiting from it, out there, why would drivers want this to change? They don't want it to change. And it's a pretty big win for them this week.
The thing is, there's people who actually do not like it. They think they got shafted. They thought it was a good idea. Not to anyone I talked to, like any of the people in LA that did gig work, they liked that extra money that came in. It has more incentive to wait. I think more like the old school, like independent contractors that did it before this is like, you guys are kind of messing it up for us. You have to adapt. You have to figure out how to get it done. But for the people that I talked to, they were cool with it. But in the article, and I was reading as well, and some of the stuff I've seen on TV, they wanted more. They wanted collective bargaining rights. They wanted, I guess, a seat at a table because, these companies, Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, they made this whole thing. They set up the whole, Prop 22 basically, right? They put the money in there. They got it passed, and a lot of these people who are upset about it, they wanted more. They want more actually. But I don't know. I think most people, gig workers, are probably cool with it. But I don't know. I don't know all the people that's in that, California, obviously. But
well, I mean, from what I understand, though, you make more money, right?
Yeah.
With it.
With it.
So
yes. I mean,
it depends.
Yeah, it
Depends. If you're doing rideshare and you're getting Prop 22 money, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
If you are on the delivery side of things, you probably are getting Prop 22 money because you're probably not making enough. So there's this definitely balance, more so when it comes to certain aspects. Yeah.
What I'm getting at though is a lot of people associate these bills with just hourly earnings though, but there's other things to it like health insurance kickback and things like that, correct? Yeah. So I mean, overall, you're getting some type of help paying, especially as an independent contractor. I know I pay a ton a month just for health insurance. So if I could get a kickback on that, then that's saving me money.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how expensive health insurance is, especially if they have like a company that pays them. And even though that doesn't come as your salary or as your wages, at the end of the year, they count that money in a different way as your total value. So it's a good amount of money if that's included.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll just have to see where that goes, I guess, in the future. Typically when these laws come, they get thrown around for years and years, and it's a never-ending battle, really. So let's move on from that. How's everybody's opinion on autonomous and robots?
I'm pro robot. I'm pro autonomous.
Put chat into a robot. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I speak for Steve as well. We all love robots here on this show.
I mean, last week's conversation was pretty telling.
Oh yeah, you were there. Yeah, you checked it out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was in the chat.
Did any of you? I know we have a group chat going for the panel here, and I sent a video out today because Steve last week said that he went and did an autonomous ride. It was terrible. It didn't work. Blah blah blah. I believe it was through Waymo, right? And it was in Las Vegas. And I know Kim, you watched the video.
I did.
It was an autonomous vehicle. It was two old guys, and I guess their granddaughter, or something in the front seat. And they are just wild out by this autonomous vehicle driving them. It did perfect. It didn't have anybody in the front seat, like Steve said. It had nobody else in the car. And it picked them up, dropped them off, drove off, didn't have any accidents, no nothing. It was a smooth ride. So
you think Steve went into the wrong car?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he went to the ghetto.
These two guys are like, yo, come in here, and pieces of car falling off. They had a crowbar back in place.
They're like literally
there were some
put the
dents
tire
and
back
scratches from people kicking it and all
Yeah.
that too. Though I have a very similar story. I was in Vegas in 2019, and they had the Aptiv cars for Lyft. So I'm like, screw it, I'll try it. Why not? And so I did it. Same thing. You had two people coming in. You couldn't record. You only had three people in the back. You had to have a certain star rating, all this way to get actually into it and order one. And then you couldn't record or anything. But you had two people, and they could not drive or self-drive in any of the casinos and any private lot. It was only on public property, which would have been like normal streets. And when we were turning on one of the streets, I was at the Westgate Resort, and I was going to, I think, Caesars or something, and going from there and then making a right-hand turn, it didn't want to make the full turn, so he had to take over. And then even in a construction zone, you couldn't do it within a construction zone, so you had to have full control as a driver. You have two drivers, and it doesn't seem like anything's changed when it comes to that. And I just got a new vehicle earlier in the year, and it's 2022 Honda Pilot, and it has self-driving, which is basically it's just in the lane, so you can use it to maneuver on the highway. And it's kind of weird because it can actually move in the highway, and it's not great. So if you have a harder turn, it's like, no, I don't want to do it. But other times it's like, okay, yeah, sure, let's go ahead, we'll do it. So it's like Google versus Chat GPT or something. So
right.
You got to develop trust.
I mean, yeah, you got to develop it. And to be honest, for me, I'd be like, no, it's great as a driver assist. I like having it on when I'm driving on the highway, and it just kind of assists. So I'm just kind of paying attention to the road more versus, trying to mess with the wheel or something.
Yeah.
But beyond that, autonomous, I don't think it's anywhere near where these companies thought it would be or where they'd want it to be, because it's a lot more in depth than they think it is.
Yeah, and you took that ride 4 years ago? You said before the pandemic.
Yeah, it was June of 2019, so it's coming up on 4 years now. It was the same exact thing.
Yeah, it's not advancing.
But that was in Vegas, you said, right?
Yep.
So how come there's other videos though that it's working in other places?
Is
Vegas just bad?
I'm going to go with a couple of things. Some there probably are working. There could be also remote control cars, which is a very possible thing too, or a drone car, or there is somebody driving in a green suit and they're using some movie magic. That is the real possibility of things. When it comes to full self-driving, I'm not sure if there is any cars that are actually out there fully self-driving.
No,
There could be. I mean, prove me wrong. I'd be happy to see that, but yeah, I mean, those could be a couple of things there.
Kim sent him that link that I sent you earlier. And so, John, now you have them by, I know you refused to go take one for him, but you have them in Phoenix.
I do.
And see, I need you to go take one for me.
So actually, I'm looking at like maybe the first week of April when baseball starts up around here. Then I'll be in that side of town, and I might take a shot.
Now, do they have drivers in the car, or is it actually driverless?
I don't think they're driver. I think they're. I don't know. I got to look it back up. There might be like a person in there, but it's not the driver, like the engineer. But I have to look it up.
John,
I signed up for it.
Let me ask you a question, a serious question. Are you worried? That's why you don't want to do it. You're like, I don't want to. Steve scared me. I scared me straight. I don't want to deal with any robots. Like, is that?
I'm not worried. I'm cautioned. I'm not worried.
I'll do it.
They have insurance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so
I got the Rainbow app and everything.
So something happens to you, but you signed something away, right? Like I thought Steve, like Chris and Steve was saying, like you signed something saying what? Like something terrible happens, you're not responsible, or
I mean, it's probably limited liability.
It's just a normal liability thing. It's like this car is being in test. Something could happen. We try to mitigate it because there's a driver in the car with an engineer. So, and then it's also the I won't record anything or whatever it might be, which was kind of stupid because it's like,
I want to record stuff.
Is there like a waiver in case of death? Blah, blah, like sometimes there's those waivers you have to sign over in case of death.
In case of death, you agree to.
This is kind of your fault, actually. So just
so you already signed that in the terms and conditions on the TOS when you signed up for each GiG platform.
So you don't have to record, John. All you got to do, go take one. You can video chat while you're taking it, and then I will record it because I didn't sign anything.
Can't you like screen record it if you're FaceTiming? Like, say Gary can like screen record the FaceTime the whole entire ride.
Right.
There's loopholes for sure.
Yeah. Just accidentally double tap your camera and it switches around, and you're like, "Oh, I'm not."
They were actually pretty up about that. They're like, you can have your phone out, but if we see anything, we got to stop it immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, well, whatever.
Yeah, you rascals trying to. I
do have this app that allows me to record in the background. So hey.
Yeah,
Chris, just go there with like one of them little pinhole on camera hats, and be like,
well,
I'm not recording.
That's what I want to get. I want to get those sunglasses that have that because why not? It's pretty cool.
The Ray-Bans. I think the Ray-Bans have something like that. They have a camera inside of it.
I don't know. I just think that I don't think they're there yet at all. I just think it's the wave of the future. It's just how quickly we're going to get to the future is going to determine how successful a lot of this technology is going to get.
Well, the problem is a lot of money is dried up because there's a few banks that's been collapsing. A lot of those startups needed that money. Silicon Valley Bank, a lot of startups needed that capital because most of these companies are not profitable. So if there's no money, then autonomous is going to be looking the same for another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
at least until the government bails them out.
Oh, yeah.
I think we will eventually get there. It will come at some point in our lifetimes. We will have full autonomous, either whether it's delivery robots or whether it's rideshare drivers, whatever it may be. But once we do get there, it can probably help you from getting burglarized, right, Kim?
Oh.
That was look at you with these segues today. I am so impressed.
He's prepared. He's prepared for this.
So I'm pretty sure a lot of us have already seen it because I feel like it's like floating around everywhere. But a lady, so to me this is a little wacky, but a lady went to a house at 1:20 in the morning, knocked and rang the doorbell saying that she was a DoorDash driver and she was trying to make a delivery while there were 3 other people that were with her that went around to the back of the house and were trying to break it in and enter the house. So it was a whole huge scam, I guess is the word I want to use, in trying to breaking in entering into somebody's house. The weird thing about the article that I read is she started knocking at 1:20 a.m. in the morning and then didn't stop until 2 a.m. So you're talking 40 minutes of trying to get someone to come to their door saying you're a DoorDash driver. I don't know, it just kind of raises a whole bunch of red flags. First of all, if you didn't order DoorDash, don't answer the door. That's the only thing I could say. Like, use safety precautions. I know me, I'm a leave it door type of girl, so I know when I order, when I don't order, and I know if someone's knocking on my door, it's not for me. So there's just safety precautions I think all of us need to think about when we do have DoorDash. They said that there was damage to the person's house in the back. They did not get into the house. They kind of gave up, I guess, and ran away. But what I find ironic is it really could be any food delivery app, and they chose DoorDash. It could have been Uber Eats, it could have been Grubhub, but they chose DoorDash as the delivery company that they want.
Driver's a bad name.
I know, so bad publicity for DoorDash, and they weren't really even involved, but that was kind of the scoop. So what do you guys think?
I think it makes it scary for like DoorDash drivers who drive late at night, gives reasons for, people to be more suspicious, and it shines the wrong light on drivers and puts a cloud above us, especially the people who deliver late at night.
There's so many scammers now, and they're becoming more and more creative. I mean, this one is not creative at all. They just seem like they wanted to break in and enter and steal, and they were not smart about it at all. But just so many different scams. It's scams on the customers. It's scams on the drivers. There's the merchants, people coming in, taking things. I know there was a story a couple of days ago where I think a DoorDash driver, I think she was a legit driver, pepper sprayed, I guess, the guy that was the merchant in the restaurant because he wanted to make sure that you confirm before you take the food. They've gotten into a fight. So it's just it's a little bit of a chaotic situation. You really have to be careful where you are working, right? And at the same time, 1 o'clock in the morning, someone's ringing your bell. Hopefully you have the Ring bell. You have some kind of surveillance technology at this point. I think Ring is pretty affordable to use. You don't have to open your door, especially late at night. It is, who's coming in unless you know them, coming at 1 o'clock in the morning.
To me, it was very blatant just because as a criminal, you see iRing cameras and you see cameras surrounding someone's house, but yet you're still trying to break and enter. So
they're dumb.
They were determined.
Some people don't have the mindset.
Yeah.
They just look at it an opportunity and they don't think of anything beyond that. So yeah, they're dumb.
Yeah, I've seen many people take Amazon boxes. They know there's cameras around. They don't care. Like they're not coming back, so they'll grab the box, leave. You never see them again. So it's just more of that. You just have to, like what you said, Kim. You have to be head on a swivel a little bit, especially in certain situations. But you definitely, when it's a late night, someone's banging on. I mean, and then you see the camera. Hopefully, they catch these. You were able to see them, like see their faces and stuff.
I think they were able to identify a couple of features on the female through the iRing door camera. They still don't have anybody in custody, but the people in the back, they were wearing hoodies and they really just saw the back of them running away. So
What state was this in?
I'm sorry?
What state was this in?
Texas.
Oh, I'd be come on in.
Yeah, that's crazy. Don't even have a death wish. You're going to start breaking. That is crazy.
They had to know that they were home. They had to know they were home.
Man.
That was crazy.
See, my thing, I can't believe that they don't have any suspects because I watched the video and I can clearly see the female.
Girl. And
there's no doubt. Like if I knew you, I could recognize you from that.
They kind of threw the female into the bus because like they have her on the front with the camera and then everybody else had coverings, but she had I think if I read 2 floral tattoos. So they big tattoos and they had some identifying markers.
Yeah, they're gonna get her and make her snitch on the rest of them. That's probably
you can easily just pause that video, clip it, put it on any news channel. Somebody's gonna talk to you because it is a Ring door camera. So
can't they also just do facial recognition, just because it is pretty a face-on type of thing?
You have to have a record for that to work.
I don't know. Ask Chat. Chat 4.0 apparently can read pictures now. So
yeah, apparently, right? It's amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, I literally can't believe that they don't have anybody in custody. I get now that it's another amazing that they didn't get in the house, because there were 5 of these people, by the way. It wasn't 1 or 2, it was 5 of them.
It was like a whole ring.
More about like the security of the house. That's a damn good like Fort Knox secured house.
Right. And how was, I guess nobody was home?
They didn't even say whether anybody answered the door. They just said that the girl kept knocking and ringing the doorbell from I think they said in the article 1:20 a.m. to 2 a.m. So 40 minutes worth of trying to get someone to come to that door. I don't know.
That was a targeted thing. They one of them may know the person that owns that house, or there's some kind of relationship there. Either they know them or they're in the area. For them to spend that much time, they think something was in there worth taking.
We're spending 30 minutes on, not just kind of a smash and grab.
Just go to the house next door. Okay, see if they're, you know what I mean? Like, why stay there so long? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. What was the story even real?
It was on the news.
It was on the news.
Was it a deep
it seems like it's so like far-fetched though. It's like why would you stay there for 40 minutes? Well, what's going on? And you can't break in a door. Please, all I need is a screwdriver and I could probably get in.
All I need is my foot. Like, seriously, I mean,
worse, you throw a rock at a window and you get in that way.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If they really wanted in, they could have got in. Like, well, apparently they are the dumbest criminals ever because they're on a camera.
40 minutes is a long time to try to break into someone's house and not get caught.
I don't know. Yeah, I get weird when I'm waiting 5 minutes for somebody to answer the door. So 40 minutes.
Well, here's the other thing though that doesn't make sense. If you have a Ring camera and it's recording this, you get notified when there's somebody at your door. Yeah. So like the app would tell you. So even if you weren't home or wherever you were, wouldn't you have noticed that notification on your phone going off and all this craziness going on? So you'd be able to either call the police or, do the microphone or whatever it is and get these people out of there.
Maybe because that's my biggest pet peeve is when I go to do a hand it to me and I'm ringing their iRing. I'm like, you can see me. Why aren't you answering your door? So yeah, I agree.
Well, most likely they probably turned their notifications off.
That's all I was gonna say. They probably kept getting notifications. Like my front door, it notifies me I got a little bush out there, and if the wind's blowing too hard, the bush will move and it'll notify me. I leave mine on for this reason though, because I don't want no crazy people coming up to my door at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But I mean, you ready for this segue, Kim?
Okay, we got a segue.
Maybe they had some alcohol delivered to their house and they were drunk and passed out. But John would know more about that story.
Yeah, I mean that may be a thing coming to Kansas soon. Kansas is interesting because they don't have alcohol delivery. DoorDash, they're trying to get it on the docket there. But what kind of got to me is that DoorDash was actively lobbying. There's a bunch of quotes by them. Trying to get the Kansas legislator to pass a law that allows them to deliver liquor. Talking about it'll bring more money to DoorDash drivers. It'll, customers will order more and all this other stuff. And it's like, I get why they want to do that, but Kansas probably didn't want liquor kind of flowing so freely for other reasons. So I'll see if it'll happen. But it just caught my attention that DoorDash was actively lobbying and trying to say, it's safe. And the funny thing to me was they're mentioning that they're going to keep it safe with their state-of-the-art technology. I was like, DoorDash state-of-the-art technology. Like they really had some gusto put it out there like that. Talking about,
they should have, going back what Chris said, they should have went to Chat GPT and got a better explanation, because that doesn't make what they want to say is we could potentially make a lot of money. Can you stop the games and let us deliver alcohol to people?
The average driver nationally makes 36 per active hour. Remember that keyword is active. They can twist and say anything they want.
Yeah.
Well,
crazy.
if it helps, New Jersey just got alcohol delivery a couple months ago. So
I should have tried that, Thomas.
Yeah, it was maybe about 5-6 months ago. We just started delivering alcohol, so it's new to New Jersey too.
See, I'm always surprised because I've had alcohol delivery for I don't know forever.
Yeah.
And so I'm surprised that I just thought everybody had it. I didn't know it was state to state. I didn't know that it wasn't trying to be rolled out. And to hear that like stuff I've been delivering for the last 2-3 years, some of you guys are just getting it like last month. It's like, what?
Yeah, in fact, most grocery stores don't actually have alcohol. Whenever I go to Orlando to go to Disney World and we go into a grocery store, I'm like, I forgot there's alcohol in grocery stores. It's like
right next to the bread aisle, Kim.
I know, it's a whole foreign concept because we don't have that in New Jersey.
I can walk 5 minutes to the store right now and get all types of beer, all types of stuff, illegal stuff. Probably they got liquor in the back. You're not supposed to sell that, but you can get it if you want it. New York, we have that going on at least.
It's kind of like the opposite way. Like when I go to those states that don't have it, like I have a family in North Carolina, and they're like, and I have a friend I visited in Idaho, and it's like, we have no liquor on Sunday between these times, and I'm like, you can buy liquor till 3 a.m. and you can't buy it at a beer store. You got a wine store. It's like, oh my gosh, all these rules. I just want a bottle of whiskey. What do I got to do?
You gotta pre-plan.
Yeah, you got to plan ahead, man. I mean, I remember that, like, 21, 22, whenever I was going to the bar all the time, we had to leave the bar at like 1:15 so we can go stop by the store, get more beer on the way home.
Yeah.
It was dumb.
The best is our bars stay open until 4 a.m. And then, until the COVID, the grocery stores would be 24-hour, but you could only get wine there now, so you can't get liquor.
I just asked ChatGPT, what states are not allowed to have or restricted to not deliver alcohol. The problem is the cutoff date it says September 2021. So the states they say have some kind of restriction is Alabama, Kentucky, Mississippi. They said Oklahoma and Utah, which
Oklahoma has alcohol.
Yeah, so it must. You said it been there for a while, and Arkansas they have it. So I don't know, but that's they could be wrong. Like those states are wrong. I just typed it in, but that's what they say.
Was Kansas in that list?
Huh?
I was saying, was Kansas in that list?
No.
So that's wrong.
Okay, you don't want to be your lawyer then.
I always found it weird though, because I can always order like cases of wine and have it delivered to my house, but I couldn't do like a DoorDash or Uber Eats type of delivery. I always found that so weird.
See, I was going to say that too, Kim. I know, like, I always see these, commercials that you can do that. You can order like a guy's package and it'll have like tequila or something in there. But, certain states, I guess. I don't know when Oklahoma got alcohol delivery because I didn't actually start doing food delivery here till the pandemic. Mm-hmm. But in Florida, they've had it forever, I know. But I could always, like Kim said, I could order a guy's package and it'd come with all kinds of alcohol in it.
I think it's a matter of time. It's going to be available everywhere. I think it's a matter of time.
Like weed.
See, I think the thing about DoorDash is like no drinking and driving. I mean, they don't want people to get high or get drunk and drive, so they want to stay at home.
It makes sense. Like, why go out? Yeah, you can get it delivered to your home. It just eventually everyone will get on board.
Yeah, like Oklahoma. Speaking of weed, Oklahoma just recently did the let's become recreational, and it failed.
Oh, really?
Bad.
Really well.
Wow.
Yes, it was like 70-30. No.
Wow.
Man, I just go down the street and I can get anything I want.
This past year, it got legalized in New Jersey, and it's doing
recreational.
Yeah.
See, we have medical here, and we got medical in Florida.
No, it's medical and recreational. We have dispensaries in all over the place.
Yeah, we do too.
I'll say this as a person who lives in a state where it's medical for a long time before it's recreational, the line is very thin about your medical problems that can get you that card.
I have eye problems. I can't, I got whatever.
I have chronic pain. What happens?
Yeah, I got chronic pain. I can't sleep.
Did you know that?
Hold on. Let me type it in the chat. Let me see what symptoms I have. Okay, I got these symptoms.
I got all of them.
Believe it or not, you can get a medical card because you eat too much.
Oh, I'm in there.
Too much?
You eat too much. What do you do when you smoke weed?
Yeah,
you eat more.
That's all I do is eat. Yeah. So
it's like, what? Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know. It's funny because in New York State, you're not like it hasn't really became legal to the point where you can go to a dispensary yet, for the most part, even though they're out and you can go get them. But I live real close to the Indian reservation, and I don't know, months ago they started opening up shops on there. It was I think like 3 shops to start with, and now right when I enter, because I always go get gas there, it's always 50 cents a gallon cheaper. But when I go in there, within a quarter of a mile, there's like 6 or 7 dispensaries all along. So it's like whatever you want, you can grab.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, in New York City, they're not following the real dispensary laws. You can walk in any smoke shop and ask, and you'll get it. And it's not. And the legit dispensaries are really expensive. So when you go over there, what you're asking for, it's like twice as much. So you go to local spots where the homies are there, much cheaper. My friend says, I don't know.
Yeah,
a friend of mine said this.
He heard that on the street.
I mean, if you think about it logically, all this, legislation just adds money, taxes, yada yada yada. So it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're right.
Now, if DoorDash starts delivering mushrooms, we got a different story.
Ooh.
That'll be Oregon.
Yeah, that's what was I was saying. We did a story on that.
You can order your own shaman too.
No, Denver is going to allow that. Remember?
Yeah.
The mushrooms,
Yeah.
the psychedelics.
Oregon.
I think it was not Denver, and then I think Oregon or Washington State. One of those places. I think legalized everything too.
Yeah, and that's why like all the Walmarts are gone. I think there's no Walmarts in the entire. I think so. I think they pulled out. It's too much.
Dude, have you ever been knocking on heaven's door? I mean, you see all this crazy stuff, and then you see like this black spool of death and everything, and it's like that's a Walmart. It's like we gotta stop that.
Red here says, "Yeah, okay, Hannibal."
Well, I'm just saying there was a friend of mine that shops and knows what's going on.
Only thing missing from that are air quotes.
Yeah, right. My friend.
There's a chat
That's all right.
response.
We're not going to judge you, Hannibal. That's okay. We won't do that.
Appreciate that.
I'm telling you, I'm waiting for the day that I get like my first DoorDash order, and it's to go to the dispensary to pick up an order and deliver.
I wouldn't mind doing that because it's highly unlikely you're going to meet someone that's mean or angry. I don't know. Like when you deal with people who smoke weed, they're chill and they're really nice. At least, people I've been around. So I'm thinking in terms of like dealing with some fast food order and someone's hangry and then you deal with a different person. But if you're dealing with someone that's you're delivering weed to, it should be a chill experience. At least I hope so.
It's a funny thing. Like, speaking of delivering not weed, but 2 people that are smokers in Arizona, there's been multiple times where, actually, just a matter of fact, last week I delivered a spark order. I'm delivering. This guy comes out there smoking. He's like, "Hey, you want this?" I'm like, "No, I got to go drive."
So generous, right? Super generous people.
Very nice. They try to tell you, well, you want this
That was your extra tip.
How bad denying it?
He was just being very chill with you, man. I don't know what to tell you. So, speaking about being very chill, there is a new rideshare company that now is going to let you chill in luxury. New rideshare company in Charlotte will only use Mercedes, Rolls-Royce, and Bentleys for rideshare.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'll be able to let you guys know that one soon.
But let me get into this. A new rideshare company called Gold Saint will give you the opportunity to ride in luxury cars around Charlotte. They're very expensive, though. I will tell you that. How it's going to work, it's going to work just like any other rideshare company. You can book a ride from one location to the next. The other part is if you're an exclusive member, you can. It also operates as a high-end rental car marketplace. So that means if you're a high-end member, you can actually rent your cars out to other people, kind of like a what's that car rental place that people do?
Toro,
kind of like a Toro. Except for those people that you can rent it to can also do rideshare with your vehicle. Rides can be requested directly through the app or website and go as far as 50 miles in any direction of the city center. Extended distance rides will go as far as Raleigh or Columbia, South Carolina. You can schedule from 5 a.m. to midnight daily. This is the part that cracks me up. Every driver is thoroughly vetted and must complete extensive training to provide riders with a sense of security, a sense of security.
Very well written.
If you're driving a Rolls Royce, you better be trained, because you can't just give any person. How much that car is worth? How much is this? Like
A lot.
hundreds and hundreds of thousands.
lot.
Yeah,
Isn't it like 250?
probably more.
Probably. That's
I'll be nervous to
ChatGPT.
drive that car.
There you go.
Yeah.
The initial membership of $249. As a member, you can ride for $99 an hour. Members can also rent luxury cars or list their own high-end luxury cars for other members to drive for a set rate by the owner. Non-ride members, which would be all of us, for $149 an hour, and you can only bring up to 2 additional guests. The only exception to this ride is the Rolls Royce, which will cost members $4.99 per hour or non-members $5.49 per hour.
Yeah, the base price is $330,000. That's base.
I'm
So
impressed that someone has the capital to fund a venture like this.
Yeah. Well, I think what it is, it's other people's cars. But it says every passenger will get a goodie bag that can be customized through the app to include snacks, gum, mints, a phone charger. It should that be standard in this price? And 2 50 milliliters bottles of Bacardi for you to take with you.
Oh, that's
Guests
nice.
at the this is how I know we're not in this class. Guests at the Ritz-Carlton in Uptown can book a ride directly through the concierge.
Okay, so
we ain't staying there.
We're not there.
Yeah. They said they're going to be expanding to other cities by the end of the year. They're going to be in Houston and Dallas by the end of the year. And in 2024, they're going to be in Miami, Los Angeles, New York, and Washington, D.C. This, to me, is strictly for rich people that have too much money and don't want to drive themselves.
Yeah, rappers.
They want to have, like, the same experience that they were at home when they're on the road. And
I am interested in where they started, and the fact that they're going to, like, the markets that I assume would have started from the beginning, Miami, New York. You start that there, not necessarily start in, is that North Carolina?
Charlotte.
Yeah. Which I
Banking
find
capital of
interesting.
the country is Charlotte. There's a lot of money there.
Okay, so that makes sense. All right.
Cool. It did say that celebrities were already using this service, which they're the only ones probably using this service. Let's be honest.
I wonder who funds it.
Now, Mike, I want to know is how much do drivers get paid per mile and time?
They better be taken
got a
care
rate
of.
card
They
on
gotta
there?
be getting taken care of.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't say it on here as far as driver pay, but maybe RSG has some pull. Y'all can reach out and find out for us.
this is independent contractors or they're employees, these drivers?
It doesn't say here. This is strictly about just the service that you can use. It doesn't say anything about the drivers in this article. Steve,
driving a Rolls Royce,
what's
you gotta
wrong with
have lots of insurance, training. Yeah, you're not gonna take a chance. They got to be an employee.
I would think employees too.
Yeah, I would guess so.
But I mean, here's my thing: if I'm an employee and I know these people are paying $100 an hour, don't try and pay me $15 an hour.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta be taken care of.
You're gonna get tips. These people probably tip well. That's how you sell them on.
I don't care if they're tipping me. First off, your driver's in a suit and one of them little driver caps.
You're gonna have to wear a uniform or something like that.
You gotta open all the doors. You pack all the bags.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, to me, it better pay really, really well. Because let's face it, how's this any different from a limo?
Yeah.
It's like the new
Well, they
limo.
also have to pay you for that extra added security that they're promising.
Yeah,
sense of security.
Sorry, sense of security.
Well, that means that in the South, there's the First Amendment laws out there.
That's what I'm wondering, and I'm sure those cars are probably bulletproof anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
But you have a sense of security when you get in. The guy hears a click, click. You're like, okay, I'm secure.
That doesn't make me feel secure. I mean, because me, I carry. I had my concealed carry at one point, but I'm not taking a bullet for anybody getting in this car.
That's gonna be your job, Gary. If you decide to drive one of these,
no, it's not.
What are you talking about? Most of them are bulletproof cars.
I think so.
It's of security. See, you don't have to do the job. You have to make them think you'll do the job.
Like the Secret Service, right?
Exactly.
Is this something the chat came up with?
Could be.
I don't know.
Wow,
I'm on their site right now. I'm trying to see how much they get paid.
Oh, so you could get a bulletproof Rolls Royce Phantom, which starts at $450,000. So,
Ooh. I mean, yeah, chump change, right?
But if I'm like a really big celebrity, I have my own security team, which means I really wouldn't need something like this, correct? If I'm like really that rich and famous.
I think everyone still use Ubers, right? Like I think everyone, even the celebrities. So I'm wondering if they want a special elevated rideshare service, they probably would jump in and grab one of these. So I don't know.
Let's see.
I don't know. It's got nothing on there about pay. The only thing it says is like register your car. That's really
it says does the reduction in fare impact the driver's compensation? No, all Gold Saint drivers are paid the same way, whether or not a Gold Saint 1 member receives a discount. So they have to be hourly, I would assume, or a certain per ride.
Yeah, I think also if you were a rich person who had the car just sitting there in your driveway, you're not using it. I think a lot of these luxury vehicles are just sitting there. At least you're making some kind of income from the car if you let them use it for the rideshare stuff. But yeah, like I said, I don't know how this helps us little guys unless we're working for this company.
But if you're rich, you're not going to lend out your Rolls Royce because then you're losing depreciation on a car that can be valued at a later time, correct?
You're going to Turo out your Rolls Royce.
Hey, times are tough. The market's not doing too well. They're like, I need more money.
That's
like, isn't that the whole point? They're like collector cars, so you don't want to put miles and wear and tear on them.
That's true.
That's true.
I don't know. We'll have to look into that and see if we can't find some driver pay on that, because that'll be interesting to see what they get paid.
We could all save money for 6 months to get like, Kim a ride, a 30-minute ride. We got a group of what's that with 400? Was that how much per hour?
For the Rolls Royce is $549 per hour.
I can just pretend. Don't you know who I am?
Don't you know?
I'm Kim from Kim's Send Money Plans.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay, do you guys know who any of these people are? Chris Weidman?
No.
Okay, Rhapsody?
I've heard of that name before.
Chris,
is that like a
rapper?
I don't know. It says Rhapsody.
No, isn't
Rapper.
Rhapsody like a musical thing?
I don't know. It says Rhapsody.
Like Pandora?
Rhapsody?
Yeah.
No, that was. You think we just aged ourselves? You're like my Rhapsody from like back in my.
What about Chris Manhertz?
Are you just saying normal people's names?
No, they said that there's celebrities using the service.
See, I can be like, don't you know who I am?
But so I think they're paid members, Gil.
Just like me, I am Abraham Van Kamelto.
I've never heard of any of these people either, so I thought
all the names.
No, that's it. Chris Weidman is an MMA person.
Oh, Weidman.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're not into MMA, you wouldn't know who he is. Yeah. He's not that famous. I mean, if you
he's not that good.
If you know Anderson Silva, if you know who that guy is, he beat that guy.
Yeah, I don't
won a champion a couple years ago.
I don't even watch MMA, and I know who Anderson Silva is.
Yeah.
Okay. The Chris Manhertz is from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Who?
Oh, I'm not that deep in the NFL.
I'm like,
he's a tight end. I bet you Pedro would have known that.
But probably, maybe.
I play fantasy football. I don't know that guy.
He's third stringer.
He's not.
Yeah, he's not a guy you would draft or pick up from the free agent pool.
Okay, so far their celebrity list is a bust, is what you guys are saying.
It's definitely not A-list.
Well, I think me and Hannibal knew two people.
It sounds like they were given
free rides.
Hey, would you like to ride with us today? We could just use your name.
They're using that. Yeah, they're trying to make money off of those cars. So like, it might not have been the best investment.
Rhapsody is actually Marlena Evans.
That's the rapper. Yeah, she was signed to Dr. Dre once upon a time.
Okay, so
she's really good. She's really good. I mean, if you're into rap, though.
So they got 1 out of 3. That's not bad. So. Okay, I think we're about to wrap this up here. So let's do our recap here. Kim, what do you got going on this week?
What I'm doing on this week. Same as always. My live on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. And then I'm here on Thursdays with you guys. Like I said, I've been changing around my content lately, giving you guys more informational videos and anything that I see happening on the app. So stay tuned for more content coming out.
Here you go, Chris. Go down there and say that.
Wasteful.
Rolls Royce. I'm from the Show Me the Money show.
Hannibal, what do you got going on?
Nothing that interesting compared to what Chris is doing. Yeah, same old stuff, videos. I think I've been trying to do more live streams Tuesday, I guess right after Kim, 9 o'clock. Nothing, I don't think I got anything planned next week, but yeah, there's more videos coming out talking about the cargo van stuff and other side hustles that people are taking a look at. I'm going to make a really negative video about YouTube automation. I've seen a lot of videos talking about how you can make thousands of dollars with YouTube automation, which I think is full of crap. So I'm going to be talking about that.
So there's one automation you don't support. We get it.
Yeah, it's called pay people to do the job for you. It's not, I don't know what else you can call it, but yeah.
It's to buy this and we're going to make you a lot of money. And then they make more money off of selling you their crap than you actually make.
It's like you already saw the video.
It's like the old saying. He goes, in a gold rush, who makes the most money? The people who sell the tools.
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
John, what do you got going on for us?
Working on this beautiful room in here. Amazon's been killing me lately. Been delivering a lot of stuff late, but working on still the same video stuff, but then also working on kind of upgrading my setup a little bit, little by little. So
I
I'm
like
probably
your
going to do
setup
some
you
live.
have.
Thank you.
Yeah, got some lights going there.
I was supposed to have a mic stand with a little boom arm like the pros here have, but not there yet. Next week, maybe.
You'll get there. So.
Sometimes these boom mics are a hassle, though. To be honest with you.
Yeah, they are in a way, especially if you're into your hands and you're gonna karate kick this, go stop this, is the whole thing.
I'll be in a cast next week. Like, oh, what happened? Those mic stands, yeah.
Mic stand, man.
Mic stand accident. It happens. So, Chris, what do you guys got going on over there at the Rideshare Guy? Or on? You actually have your own YouTube channel as well. So
yeah, I have 2 channels actually besides, but we'll start with Rideshare Guy. So yeah, if you don't know me, Show Me the Money Club live Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. It's Sergio and myself. Sergio's, I believe, been on here, or at least with the Steve a couple of times already.
Right. And he's actually going to be here tomorrow too.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, you could catch my co-host on tomorrow. But yeah, we host that show. So come on over to the Rideshare Guy. Check that out. Not only that, we have plenty of great content. Kim is also a contributor over there. So she's over here. So she is there, and you can catch her making some videos as well. So make sure you head out and check out the Rideshare Guy. Also, check out Real Rideshare Stories. I haven't posted in a little while, mostly because I'm doing a lot with the Rideshare Guy. But I am going to start getting back into content and a couple of new things that are going on, not necessarily within the rideshare arena or, gig economy, but just some fun stuff going on.
And then if you want to know why I have this, it's because I like to call scammers and screw with them and make them go absolutely crazy, because the only thing they see in the eyes and the cold heart is that they want that money from poor old granny. So my buddy and I, we call scammers and screw with them horribly.
So if you want to check that out, that's on Scammer Jammer. But yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'm doing a lot of stuff on the YouTube sides.
All right, and we'll actually get Steve to put all your links there in the show notes and everything like that. And we do appreciate having you on the show. We're glad that you could fill in for Steve. It's a breath of fresh air not having him here, having you here.
He's a good guy. Steve's awesome.
I know. Steve's my buddy. We're very close, so he's my buddy. But no, it's great having you here. We're glad you joined. What I got going on this week, tomorrow I got Driver Nation. Sergio is going to join me there. That is at 7 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern. That's with me and Sergio and Tom. I believe Rideshare Lisa is also going to join us there. And we're basically simulcasting the tncradio.live on the YouTube as well. So you can actually join in on the chat. You can listen to our stories, things that we go over. You know, some of it's some rideshare news, some of it's delivery news. Sometimes we just have fun and make up stories and kind of what we do here. The next thing I have going on, I did tell you guys, I think it was a couple weeks ago or whatever, that I was working on 2 new apps this year. And so, or that I was going to be putting out more apps this year. I'm actually got one app. Since Chris, you mentioned before the show that you're going to actually go to Red Bank and challenge your friends and stuff there to what we call Gig Wars. See who's the better driver. I'm actually releasing the Gig Wars app, you know, along with the Red and another developer, Lady Enigma. We're actually going to release a Gig Wars app. We're going to beta test it starting this weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the Gig Wars team is going to be on the Gig Wars channel doing the beta testing for the iOS and the Androids.
Nice.
And so,
Nice.
yeah. So if anybody wants to follow along with what Gig Wars got going on, you can go check out officialgigwars.com and you can see what we got going on over there. And hopefully by early next week, you should be able to download both the Android and iOS onto your devices.
Nice. Fantastic.
Yep. Looking up. Lots of stuff going on. So thanks everybody in the chat for showing up. Thanks everybody for being here on Thursdays. We really appreciate everybody being here, and we will see you all next week.